Scuderia Ferrari is currently going through one of the most critical phases in recent years, and the signs are increasingly clear that Charles Leclerc has realized the team has minimal chances of achieving a significant performance leap during the 2025 season. Despite the initial excitement surrounding the much-talked-about SF25 model, the Maranello team is beginning to understand that the real scenario could be a long and difficult campaign, marked by limitations that will not only hinder Leclerc's results, but may also compromise Lewis Hamilton's debut season. The question that lingers is, how will this impact the fight for the championship? And is Ferrari already quietly stepping away from the title race? There is little doubt that the biggest disappointment of the current championship so far is Ferrari. The most traditional team in Formula One is facing severe difficulties with the performance of its new car, and shows clear dissatisfaction with the philosophy adopted for this season. Even though engineers keep insisting that there is considerable potential to be extracted from the project, which was radically changed compared to last year's model and retained only a minimal fraction of the previous components, the reality on track tells a different story. The team's pace has dropped, and it now sits in fourth place among the fastest teams, battling directly with Williams. As Leclerc has reiterated, impactful changes are not expected to come anytime soon. In recent interviews, the Monegasque driver explained in detail that the car shows weaknesses in virtually every type of corner, and that there isn't a single section where performance is consistently strong. According to him, the Miami Grand Prix served as a perfect snapshot of this limitation. Even after delivering a solid qualifying lap, the best he could manage was a modest 8th-place finish, which, in his words, accurately reflected the team's current level. Leclerc also expressed hope that things could change, but made it clear that Ferrari has yet to find the right solution to its problem. It's clear that the Italian team is among those anxiously awaiting the upcoming races in Barcelona and Imola, as well as the implementation of new technical regulations, hoping that the advantage of the MCL 39 can be reduced. However, the performance gap held by the Woking-based team appears too large to be nullified by a single update package. While qualifying times are extremely close between the top 10 drivers, the truth is that the orange car stands out significantly in race pace, managing tire degradation flawlessly, and positioning itself as the clear favorite for the season. For Ferrari's most devoted fans, this is a frustrating and painful reality. Last year, the team was able to execute some races with effective one-stop strategy, even on high-degradation circuits like Monza and Suzuka, where tire management is crucial. Back then, the drivers managed to keep the tires within the ideal temperature and performance window for long stretches. Now, with the new design, that consistency has completely disappeared. The team fears a further drop in the championship standings, especially with Red Bull's update package arriving in Imola, followed by a second phase in Barcelona. The concern that has taken hold in Maranello is justified. The gap between Ferrari and McLaren is already substantial, and there's an internal feeling that it might be very difficult to close that gap over the rest of the season. It's worth noting that 6 races have already been completed this year, and the points difference between the two teams is considerable. Although 18 races still remain on the calendar, every passing Grand Prix makes a comeback less likely. What's more worrying is that Ferrari itself doesn't seem fully confident in the technical path it chose for the SF25, even though it remains committed to investing in this concept. On the other hand, Lewis Hamilton remains more optimistic. In his post-race analysis, the 7-time world champion stated that, although the result in Miami was modest, he believes the car holds hidden potential. In his view, something is preventing the performance from being unleashed, but it's not the design itself that's flawed. Hamilton said that since the Chinese Grand Prix, the car has lost pace, and although the performance is there, the team cannot access it fully. Until that issue is resolved, this will be the condition they'll have to face. So what can be done from now on? Ferrari understands the urgency of implementing updates. Frédéric Vasseur emphasized that the plan outlined at the beginning of the season will be followed as expected, which means concrete changes in the upcoming races. However, as is often said with Ferrari, words and promises mean little unless they are followed by results on the track. According to the team principal, there will be update packages for both Imola and Barcelona, But he was firm in stating that more important than introducing new parts is finding the right balance for the current setup. Vasseur also mentioned that the Imola circuit should be more suitable for Ferrari's car compared to the Miami layout, where low-speed corners exposed a significant weakness. Even so, Hamilton acknowledges that at this stage, Ferrari is fighting against Williams rather than contending with the leaders. Despite his confidence in a potential recovery, the facts on the track are crystal clear and show that the team is far from where it hoped to be. Talking about the goal of returning to the top step of the podium, which has only happened once this season, and only in a sprint race in China, Hamilton said the team will keep working hard on every single process. He mentioned feeling slight progress in Miami, and believes that if they can fix the main weaknesses of the car, they'll be able to challenge Mercedes and Red Bull again. He concluded by saying that fighting for a podium would be highly rewarding, both for himself and for the team. Among the critical points that require immediate improvement, communication between engineers and drivers is at the top of the list. In Miami, we saw Hamilton visibly frustrated, urging the team to make quicker decisions after they hesitated and ended up compromising his fresh tires, which prevented him from catching Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Although he later downplayed the episode, saying that any driver would be frustrated in that situation. The truth is that such an error should not happen. At that moment, Ferrari was deciding who should attack to fight for 6th place, when ideally, they should be contending for the top spots. Currently, the team finds itself in an uncomfortable situation. It has to defend itself from Williams, and struggles even against rookies like Antonelli. This scenario was certainly not part of the season's original plans, but now represents the most accurate portrait of what the campaign has become. Vasseur tried to justify the decisions made during the Miami Grand Prix by saying they were based on the time it took to assess whether the car behind had a DRS advantage. The team principal explained that it took about 90 seconds to analyze the situation, and then opted to swap the order of the cars. He admitted that, in hindsight, the decision should have been made earlier, but argued that there wasn't enough certainty at the time. One element worth highlighting in Vasseur's leadership is the change in mindset he brought to the team. Unlike Mattia Binotto, who emphasized the need to understand the problem, Vasseur advocates for actively seeking solutions. This shift in approach was well received at first, but the results have yet to materialize in victories or significant gains. If the team is looking for answers that don't exist or misinterpreting the data, the update packages are unlikely to bring the desired outcome. This is precisely the area where Ferrari must evolve if it wants to fight at the front again. Despite all the investment, the Italian team has once again become a source of jokes behind the scenes in Formula One. Being outperformed by a team like Williams after starting the year promising to fight for podiums is something that hurts the legacy and prestige of the brand. With all this in mind, do you believe Ferrari still has the strength to catch up with the top 3 teams this season? Or is it time to accept that the year 2025 is essentially lost? Share your opinion in the comments below and, afterward, click the video that will now appear on your screen.